lawn care stuff. A week late on, so good. I haven't kept track of the weather.
Got a couple days yet before.
Rob, did you do it the right way?
The only way.
I think that's funny, huh?
Oh, I got many more, believe me. There's a lot of ways, so.
All right, it is live.
Okay, we'll call this the Packet County Solid Waste Management Board meeting to order on May 12th, 2025 at 3:30 approximately. John, has proper notice been posted?
Yes, sir.
in the meeting? Okay, thank you. We do have a quorum. There's 2 people missing. Okay, first order of business. Review and approval of the agenda.
Ken?
Second?
I'll second.
Second by John Miller. Any problems with it or discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Agenda is approved. Likewise for the minutes of our March 10 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
By Sue Golding. Second.
I'll second.
Second by John Miller. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Minutes are approved. Any correspondence, Sean?
No, sir.
Clean Sweep Program updates.
I was just making sure nobody was trying to get on or something. It was, so.
So pretty much that's just on there. Fred, I'll need your signature like I called you about last week on the memorandum of understanding between us and Brown County, because I'm applying for the 2026 like household hazardous waste grants, and I gotta have all my ducks in a row there. But then I was kind of thinking, because they have like the household hazardous waste grants and they have the like agriculture has grants. So I was kind of thinking back to when I worked up at Marathon County and we were running a program where like egg related businesses and farmers could come in and they could have like half of their bill subsidized for, you know, properly disposing of hazardous waste. And so I reached out to Dan Way with DATCAP to kind of learn more or confirm what I thought I knew about that, which I'm glad I reached out to him because he set the record straight and told me how we can go about doing that, I guess. So I guess just an update could be I guess if we ever have like at the PTF, if we ever have, you know, like a farmer or somebody call with a large amount of haz waste, you know, instead of charging them the full 60 cents a pound, which can rack up pretty fast, we'll be able to just charge them 30 cents a pound, which would be nice. There's a little bit of like paperwork and stuff we have to submit to DATCAP first, just to make sure that they have the funds available. But this will kind of tie in a little later, I guess, when I talk about farm technology days. But yeah, I guess that was just mostly there to remind myself to make sure that I had the MOU signed for Brown County. And yeah, we'll kind of talk a little bit more about that later, I guess. I can just talk about the logo contest too right away, I guess. Move on to the next one. We didn't have any submissions. So that's cool.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Right? I didn't hear back from any of like the art teachers. I even like reached out to libraries too, like we said, and I asked them to maybe just like post it in their lobby or something, just so like more people could see it, because assumingly people are going to go to the library probably with their parents, so then, you know, their parent could be like, oh, like you're great at art, you should do this. And so yeah, we didn't get any submissions, so I don't know what we want to do. Right. So I don't know what the heck we want to do, or if we just want to open it up to like everybody in Waupaca County now that we tried going like the kid route. If we want to try just opening it up to anybody, maybe, but at the same time, like I can't guarantee that we're going to have any submissions that way either, but
Might be kind of fun. We could play it up and yeah.
Right.
get a little more interest countywide in recycling and, go from there. I think it's.
Well, then I
it's
was
a good thing,
thinking
yeah.
too, like right, if we opened it up to adults, maybe we could say like the prize instead of it being the t-shirt, like maybe we could just give away like a compost bin instead, because
Mhm.
that would be a little bit more
Sure.
maybe exciting of a prize to an adult. Or depending on who wins, you know, you can have your choice of maybe like the compost bin or a, you know, a free t-shirt or I don't know, whatever, but I guess, I can kind of think about how to get that out there. I don't know if we'd want to even just do like a press release and like actually like get it out there. Because sadly, like our Facebook page, unless we like pay to boost stuff, not a lot of people are seeing the Facebook stuff, which
Mhm.
I'm working on building our page up, you know, and creating the following there, like Winnebago County does, or some of the other like waste management pages I follow are just like or solid waste department pages I follow just have so much interaction and stuff on their posts. So I need to figure out how to bring maybe a little bit more comedy and humor to the posts, because those seem to be the ones that obviously people really react to and I don't know, yeah, react to and comment on, and
Instead of just adults, maybe a family contest.
yeah,
You know,
that too.
family making the logo. Then
Yeah.
you get the kids involved too,
Mm-hmm.
and they all get to learn composting.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I think we can just open it up to basically anybody then, yeah.
Still on radio?
So the last time I was there at the end of August, or end of April, I mean. I don't remember when my next one's coming up, I think it's not till July. But we could kind of like postpone this a little bit maybe, and the next time I'm on the radio, we could
Mhm.
kind of, you know, work that in there and I could announce it
Take it
then,
off there.
yeah.
We've done without until now.
Right, it's like we're not like in a rush to get a new
Right.
logo, I think it would just be fun to at least have it before the fair, I guess.
Mhm.
That would be fun. Maybe I'll have to talk with Rick and see if I can get on the radio again sooner.
You should just have a caricature of Fred.
There you go.
Be our poster child.
Yeah. With a hard hat, mask.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
that's that, I guess, for the logo contest. Then if you want me to talk about number 8, I can do that too. So this is kind of
Quick
exciting.
question before
Yeah.
we completely leave, number 6. At 30 cents a pound, are we gonna lose anything?
So that's the thing too. So I might not have explained that very well. So there's so it's for VSQGs, very small quantity generators. It's a different funding source, or it's a different pot of money than the clean sweep. So we still I'm applying for our clean sweep grant or whatever, so we can get that money back again this year. But then with this VSQG program, it's a different pot of money. So that would be a different check they would cut us then. So it'd be coming out of, we wouldn't be losing any money. The DNR would just be supplementing that other half then. Yeah. And Dan said that, obviously like, there's only so much money in there. So that's why they have you kind of fill out like this paperwork and kind of figure out like how much their total bill is going to be before telling them, confirming whether or not yes or no, that it'll work out. They said towards the end of the year, they usually have more money at their disposal, obviously just because then they know what's been taken out all year and that kind of thing. So he said if they denied a request earlier in the year, that you could try again later in the year. And, you know, if they have the money, then obviously they'll reimburse you. I don't know, obviously, if we'd really want to go that route and take a gamble on that they have the money at the end of the year, but he said that not a lot of people put in requests for this. Mostly just Dane County does at the end of the year, and they ask for like 15,000 or something. So it doesn't sound like it's a super maybe well-known program, or at least not one that people are actively using a lot. So I think we could, just being kind of a rural county here, I think we could probably benefit from just letting people know that, hey, this does exist. So yeah, so we would not be losing out any money. Because obviously we do not have a lot of money to lose out on, so.
What did they all do up at Point at that last meeting?
For Wick Swamp?
All the groups together.
The only one that was in point recently was that one in November for Wixwama.
No, there was another one. That was just recently, the last week or so.
We have one next Tuesday. But you have county board.
Oh, next, that one.
So that hasn't happened yet.
We can go. Are you going?
Yeah.
You can go, yeah.
Okay.
All right, pardon me for interrupting.
So then, yeah, 8, Recycling in Action Month. That's kind of a new thing this year. I think it's put on by like the plastic recyclers or something. They kind of just like nationwide, I guess. I don't remember exactly which group or whatever kind of like put it on, but there's a lot of MRFs and like PTFs across like the country that are opening their doors up to Recycling in Action Month. So they're inviting people in to come and see like tours and education about recycling and like what happens to your recycling after it leaves the curb, and like showing people that recycling does work and it's not just a, you know, false thing and fake thing that we're making up and all this kind of stuff. So I convinced Joe and Josh to do an open house at the PTF too. So we're doing that on Wednesday this week, short notice, but you swing by if you're not doing anything. Since obviously like our PTF is very different than a material recovery facility, I want to have videos too of like how it's different than bringing your stuff to the PTF and why our rules are different than what you put in your curbside bin. So I'm hoping it can help clear up a lot of the confusions on the differences between drop off and curbside. So yeah, I don't know, it's just gonna be a fun little day. There's gonna be snacks, of course. As Rick said on the radio, come for the snacks, stay for the solid waste, you know, it'll be good. But yeah, that'll be all day. We're gonna have tours at 9, 11, 12:30, and 1:30 when the sort line's running, so people can kind of see how that operates and why we only process one material at a time and all this stuff. But yeah, so that'll be kind of fun. Looking forward to that.
Are we gonna be involved in that, or do we have to help out in any way, or?
No, not really. I think we should be able to handle it. Oh, we also partnered with the Manawa, the library in Manawa. They're going to be bringing a group out hopefully at 12:30. So they're kind of co-hosts, I guess, because it was kind of their idea. They're like, oh, what if, you know, could we ever have like a field trip out to the PTF? Because I went and talked about composting there a couple weeks ago, and they're like, oh, like, could we do a field trip out to the PTF? And I was like, actually, now that you say that, I was like, that kind of like kicked it into gear, and I was like, oh, like we should actually just have an event, you know, at the PTF. So
What did you say? Absolutely not?
what? No, kick started into gear. Like
Oh.
I was like, oh, like we could have a Recycling in Action Month event, you know? I was like, if there's interest there, I was like, heck yeah, you can come on out. We love giving tours. So so hopefully at least at 12:30 we know we're gonna have some people there for a tour. Yeah, definitely spread the word if you're able to. Yeah, I guess that's all I have for number 8 then.
So those are at 9, 11, and 12:30
And 1:30.
and 1:30. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, what were we at there? That was number
Good.
8.
Got a lot of friendly Wapaco faces here that can help out. Scott? Fellow alderman?
Oh, Mary Ann will be glad to kick in. I think.
She'll be in school.
Isn't she retired?
She's retired. She's retired.
Retired?
She's been retired for a while.
Oh, is she?
Pretty sure.
Yep.
Well, I don't keep up on stuff.
Well, yeah, but you've been around for 3-4 years.
Regularly.
Hey, you know, buddy, Mr. Francis keeping tabs on you.
I know.
What did I do?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and now
Up to number
are we, yeah, everything done, Allison? Or do you have anything more to add?
No, not yet.
What a stupid. Safe step tubs. They better check them out, huh?
Yeah. Never know when you need a new bathtub.
Maybe I'll sell John one. Okay, moving right along. Logo contest. Didn't you hit on that?
We're on number
Yep,
9.
number
Frank.
nine.
Number 9.
Good Lord.
Cruise
Right
along.
along here.
Has anybody been anywhere exciting?
Not me.
Anything online? Oh, really, Rob?
Nothing. I stay off.
What about your wife? You took your wife out to dinner? That was nice.
No, made her meals.
You made her work at
Well,
home?
she, actually, I make her meals. And
Oh,
she's still
okay.
working at home.
All right,
Back to Allison.
huh?
Back to Allison.
You're gonna have to talk again? Okay, you got the floor.
Alrighty, so I guess under education outreach, next week I have a couple of presentations coming up. We have the composting presentation, May 22nd at the Wapaka Area Library. That's at 5:30. Last time we did it at 5 o'clock, and for the last presentation I did about recycling, we did it at 5, and that seemed to be a little too soon after people got done with work, so people were coming in late, so now we're trying 5:30, and there's almost like 50 people on Facebook that said they were interested. So that's kind of exciting, which you kind of got to take that with a grain of salt. I've posted enough events to know you got to take that with a grain of salt, but it's exciting that people are seeing it and at least saying that they're interested. So that's fun. I saw that today. And then, so that's next Thursday night. And then Friday, I'll be at the Eco Park with like the 4th graders all day, teaching them about composting and worms and all that good stuff. It looks like we've been having a very successful tire roundup again this year, I guess, or this month. And then the Farm Technology Days. So Farm Tech Days is in Wapaka County this year. So I just messaged the lady and reserved a booth today. Because I figured we could talk about, or we could share information about like composting, the PTF, and then about that like Egg has the VSQG thing. So I think that
It's in Bear Creek.
yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Like I don't remember
Yeah.
where it is. I just know it's in Wapaka
Okay.
County.
Okay.
And so that'll be August 5th through the 7th, Tuesday through Thursday. And I didn't know, I know that's obviously a couple weeks before the fair. I didn't know if anybody would want to help table for this as well.
Maybe Joe could get us some connections up there. Bear Creek isn't exactly a metropolis.
Sure.
No, not really.
It's so funny.
But yeah, so I don't know. I guess I'll send out an email maybe in like, maybe at the July meeting, just kind of get that on y'all's radar. If you, I don't exactly know what the schedule looks like either for tabling yet. I just reached out to her and said, please reserve us a spot.
Okay, it is August 7th at the Clinton Farms.
Okay.
Yeah, Clinton Farms, yeah.
Okay.
Not to be confused with Clintonville.
Mhm.
Right. But yeah, so probably in like maybe the July meeting, I'll come back and I'll just, once I kind of have figured out how long the tabling is, and for that, maybe we'll just do like a sign up sheet or something if anybody wants to help. Otherwise, I'll just sit there all day. Fine.
And Bear Creek is where they do a lot of the cold, not cold,
What?
sauerkraut. Bear Creek, right?
Yeah. There's
They're
a
big
guy,
on that.
there's a guy named Heidemann. His son is on the Nuanez School Board, and he got a pretty big operation between Sugar Bush and Bear Creek. So there'd be a contact for me to check on anyway,
Sure.
to see if we could get a spot.
Mhm.
But do your thing as well. It's tough. A lot of these things takes a double whammy.
Mhm.
Everybody, a lot of times will say, oh, no, we're busy or we're booked up.
Mhm.
So,
It's true. And then something kind of exciting that I've also wanted to get going on for a while is I've seen like other solid waste departments have like these fix it clinics where people can come bring in like a broken vacuum and there's somebody there that knows how to fix it. So you bring your stuff, it gets fixed. Yay.
Instead of throwing it away.
Yeah, instead of throwing it away. So my friend Angie, who runs the mills in Iola Mills or whatever, they have a gelato shop thing that they took over. She's also very much into sustainability and that kind of stuff. I actually worked with her with Recycling Connections in Stevens Point there.
They're gonna hold it in the old mill part.
Yep, yeah, so they would hold it at the mill there. We're in the very early planning stages, but she said that it would be very, very awesome, if like Wapaka County could sponsor, and mostly just like sponsoring would be sharing, like getting the information out, getting the word out. I also was like, oh, I can bring this to my board and see if they know how to fix anything too. So maybe any of y'all want to sign up and be fixers. Because that's our first step, is just looking for fixers and having a meeting and figuring out what people know. Like,
No
do you know electronics? Do you know, I don't know, whatever, woodwork. John, you can be a fixer. You can help with wood stuff. I don't know. But yeah, so we're kind of in the early planning stages of that. And then she also said we'd probably be having these on like a Saturday or something. But she's like, oh, like you're more than welcome to come and like share your information, like with solid waste, like what the county's doing, all that, and like your programs and stuff. So I think that'll be good for us to kind of like tag on to this event and kind of help it get going. And I don't know, I'm just excited. I wanted to start up one of these for a while. And if she's willing to do a lot of the heavy lifting and get it going and we can just kind of tack on there, I'm down to clown.
Time frame.
Not really. We don't. So like I said, I mean, the first step is just kind of looking for the fixers. So she said she was gonna reach out to like the historical society, maybe like the Lions Club, like stuff like that. If y'all have any ideas about where we can find fixers, that'd be good. Yeah, find some fixers. Yeah, we're kind of just basically open to any and all suggestions right now, I guess. But
we have a booth at the end. If you can't fix it, take it to us.
right, yeah, and then we can be like, oh yeah, nobody here knows how to fix your stuff. We'll get rid of it for you.
There's the metal pile.
There you go.
The proper way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess I'll be bringing back more information about that as it kind of develops. I'm really excited about it. And I guess under program updates, I got our annual report submitted at the end of last month. And like I said, I'm working on those clean sweep grant applications, which those are due on the 23rd. So next Friday, I gotta get those done. So hopefully after we get our MOU signed with Brown County, I can get that to them and hopefully they'll get it back to me and then we'll all be good. Yeah.
Can you, to expedite matters, maybe call or let them know that you're sending a hard copy, but then also fax them one
For what?
for Brown County.
Oh, yeah, I'll email it over to
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
email it over to Chris Brown. He's the one, or Chris Blond. He's the one I work with over there.
okay. Very good.
Perfect. I think that's all I had.
I got. Joe, you're on.
All right. Well, we went from slow to holy cow, what's going on here? So
Must be
it has
spring
been
time.
the weather. It's really in the tire roundup. We just shipped a load Thursday. We got another load and a half to 2 loads sitting there yet. So that's going pretty good.
The Scouts had a gig in London last weekend. The weekend before. Electronics only, I guess it was.
Our 2 40-yard dumpsters we ordered, they arrived a few weeks ago, so we got them. Last week they were here, they got all the pedestrian doors done for the project. That's done right now. I got a call today. The loading dock door, they're just waiting for the header, the steel for the header. So, and then that'll be done. And on the pedestrian doors, all I'm waiting for now is I got JR's Lock and Key ordered a new keypad for our one door for the employee entrance. So, as soon as that comes in, she'll put that in and that project will be done. As for the Has Waste program, that has started. And along with that, like we talked about, Josh and I got some shelving and we now have a reclaiming area in there for all the stuff that can be reused. So that's up and going.
That's exciting.
And that's starting to pick up now too. It started off a little slow, but it's picking up now.
And that has been very helpful. We've been we were on the pilot program for the reclaiming program through the parks. We've been going there and grabbing paint whenever they need it. They just come down there. Hey, we just got to put paint on something so it don't rust. You go down there, there's always some paint around, and then anything Roundup we grab from them because we go through a lot of that stuff and it's really expensive, So when people turn in a jug of that stuff we mix it with our stuff and then we use it in the parks. So
We've taken Roundup to Green Bay in the last 2 years.
no, it's been very good for the county.
You
Yep.
have any weed killer you want to get rid of?
I don't know if they got anything right now, but
I don't have anything right now. I just went through.
when it comes in, that's what I'm saying. Is the parks guys, we get a little tip and we'll come nab that stuff.
We come down there.
Because
We're down there a couple times a week checking it out.
Is that free to the public?
Yes. Yes. Yep. We didn't know how we were gonna do it, if we were gonna have an appointment or not, cause Josh and I are gonna have to take you out there and get it, but we just, if you come in, if we're not with customers or not busy, we'll just take you over and you can look at it. It's only gonna take a few minutes. If we're busy, you might have to wait a few minutes, so. Yeah, there's no charge, but we get a lot of good stuff in, a lot of stuff that hasn't even been opened. And people, well, there was a sale going on, buy one, get one free, well, that didn't mean you had to take it, but, so we get a lot of good stuff. Or you need a little paint, you gotta go buy a gallon of paint when you only need a little bit, so.
Yep.
So it should work out pretty good. It's done good in Green Bay. They have that also.
what are we calling that now?
Just a reclaiming room?
Reclaiming?
Choose to reuse.
I can't read my own writing.
So, I'll ask. Okay, so the people that have it to get rid of, do they have to pay to get rid of it? Let's see. Yeah.
Well, because at the end, if someone doesn't come take it, then we still have to pay. to get rid of it.
We're not gonna let it sit there a
Yeah.
long time, give it-
Free lunch?
No, it was his question.
Yeah.
I just asked.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Well, once we start sorting
We
everything,
use
if
ours.
it's good, we'll put it on the shelf. If not,
Yeah. The best option is if you have something and like if your neighbor needs something, you can, they can get it from you for nothing and then you didn't have to pay to get rid of it. And
Yeah.
But this is the second best option.
Yep.
so I think we're trying to get the word out and stuff, so. Should be all right. It'll go pretty good. Also, the other project we were looking at is when we put in back in transfer, we put that extra door in a few years ago when we went to these open top trailers. Well, we never did anything as far as gravel or asphalt for them to pull in. Well, this year with all the rain, the semis, it's just turned as pure mud. And the semi would get in, we've had having to pull the semi out with the loader. Because it's bad, you just sink right down in. So I did get a hold of the highway to have an estimate done to have that whole area either gravelled or asphalt. And they sent me a quote today, to have it all asphalt, that whole area would be 83,000.
How much?
83,250.
Wow. Just tell them we're friends.
Just to have it with limestone gravel was 35,000.
Yeah, so
So-
either way, we're into capital project type
Yeah,
stuff.
it is. Honestly, I think asphalt would be better. I know it's a lot, but when it comes to plowing, do you know where all that gravel's gonna go?
Yep, right.
So every year, we're gonna be calling in loads of gravel to be brought back in, so.
Yep.
So it's just an idea. That doesn't mean,
But
we can't go out and have a few more estimates made up, but this might end up as
Yeah, we wanted to
a project.
get an estimate from highway just so we kind of see ballpark what we're talking about to fix the problem.
We didn't do concrete because at over $200 a yard.
Whoa.
Is that what it is now?
So is this for the whole parking lot or just in front of those doors?
Just in front of the doors and a little bit down the building a little bit.
And it's 83,000?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because 2 doors already have concrete.
$1 million
We poured
of land.
concrete years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just blacktop.
Well,
We did our driveway last year.
But it's a big lot. I mean, it's a big area.
But-
You gotta remember, it's got a whole semi.
Yeah.
You know, the length of a semi, because the semi turns way up in there and then backs into the.
I'll have to lay a sub base
They do
first
the-
and then blacktop.
yeah,
so
12
that's-
inches of gravel underneath
Yeah.
that. So.
And you gotta dig 12 inches out.
Excavate. I get it.
So that's all the excavating, the gravel, the base, everything.
So it's more like the length of a block and not just in front
Yep.
of some doors.
Right, it's a
Okay,
big
so
square
it's a
pad, big
It's a
pad,
big area.
yeah, big area.
Yeah, so many cubic feet probably are almost when you start to dig down, yeah,
Yeah,
square feet, cubic feet.
so,
So we'll have to do a little exploring on that
Yeah,
and
I think
see
so.
what the best options are. If there's some other option, I don't know. And then we'll come back come budget time.
yep,
Yeah.
but this was just, like I said, that quite a few times we had to pull the semi out of there with the loader.
Just this year.
That every time you do that, it's one more time closer to breaking something on somebody else's
Right.
truck, so.
But that was just this year?
Just this year, yeah, it's been getting bad throughout the years, it just, this year with the rain, it destroyed it. So,
Scott, it's different out here than from what you guys do in the city. Out in the county, but pavement and town pavement, $1 million a mile.
I know that, I've heard that.
Yeah. We got a couple projects going there, right? Sure. So, yep.
Is that all you got, Joe?
that's all I have, yep. Oh, go ahead.
I just have an update from last month. I asked about if they're recycling the stuff from the courthouse with this remodel. And I did contact the public property chair and they were gonna try to recycle everything they can and
Sure.
reuse, so.
Good.
It's not just gonna get thrown in solid waste.
Good, because they got a lot of stuff they're going through right now.
Okay, so
Yep.
they're, cause I mentioned the Revolve Salvage does it and the online and Levy's and, you
Yep.
know, nothing else, Goodwill, instead of throwing it in solid waste.
Yep.
Probably end up in the whole highway shop, that's now a architectural salvage business there on Fulton Street. You get
Is that what
stuff,
it is?
Yeah,
yeah, windows, doors, stoves, there's anything you want, you walk in there and it's amazing. But that's where you get it from, some of these
Yep.
houses, buildings.
When I said to Ron, the maintenance director for the courthouse there, I said, hey, you know, all these big, you know, wooden doors, you know, that you got in a courthouse, I assume those are going away and we're getting different doors when they remodel all this stuff. So I was like, you would think that would be worth something, you know, because boy, you buy one of those doors, it's probably $1,000
That's the
a
kind of place
piece.
that would take it. Now,
Yeah.
what they pay for it, I don't know.
Yep.
But, or if you just gonna throw it away, they just take it. from you.
Well,
Maybe
exactly,
sell
you
it
know.
to somebody.
I think they would even pick it up.
They
I'm
might.
not sure, but
Yep.
it seems like they
He's
go
on,
in
he's
and,
on Facebook a lot advertising. I know, I can't remember his name with it, but you just go down there, it's open certain days of the week.
Yeah, I walked through there. You got a lot of neat stuff.
Oh,
yeah, I
that's-
walked through there too.
Yeah.
So,
Their restores, are they still open?
Restore the Albertans.
Yeah.
That's another place.
You could probably donate some to them.
they steal the same type of stuff. This guy just got a massive building. He
What
gets
did you
so
have
much
to
stuff.
do?
It's ridiculous.
It's full.
Chicago.
Yeah, it's full.
Yeah. Maryland's,
Yeah.
Milwaukee House. Into your house
He had a
here.
wood, old wood mantel, little fireplace, antique chandelier, I've seen it all in there.
Well, and continuing with that, just slide right into my stuff there. As far as the move, you know, our office has been on the other side of the courthouse now for a while, and seems like working the bugs out of that. And we're doing our best to try and get Allison a spot there in the courthouse as well, so that she can kind of be Jen's backup during the day. It's hard when you got one person sitting there. You get up and go get your lunch or something, and then you know, you need somebody around. Everybody else is off somewhere, and land and water guys this time of year, they're out in the field, you know, doing stuff. And when I'm not going to be around in the courthouse, I was kind of a backup too. And so Jen was kind of like, well, how is this going to work? I got to like lock the door when I get up to go. So, but Allison's going to be working, she's been doing it now as a filling in on the scale up at the PTF, getting educated up there and working with the people up there too. So I think that's going to be good for us all the way around. And then she'll be back at the courthouse when she's not up there. And then we've just got a little bit more cleaning up to do in our current office, and then we'll be out of there. The parks guys and myself are moving up to the park shop in this week sometime. We're just worked out something with Ron so we could use their enclosed trailer, get our stuff up there, and so yeah. And it's starting, if you're in the courthouse, it's starting to look like it's emptying out now. Like everybody's kind of moving down. I think Treasurer's the next one to move over. Register of Deeds moved over, and so that whole east side of the courthouse is getting pretty empty. And then with second floor at the 600 building down the road here, or I guess that way, their second floor is pretty empty up there too, and the parking lot is very sparse lately.
So how is the traffic flow for the public at the courthouse? Are they all finding the new locations?
Pretty good. You know, right now it's a little weird. You know, everybody comes in, they're looking down where our office used to be, and then you know you got down around the corner. But there's signs at the end of the hallway pointing people in that direction. So I think people are finding it. Now it's going to get a little weird once they actually start tearing things apart, because you're going to have to, the main entrance is going to be on the west side of the building, kind of over there by the loading dock. So that's going to be the main public entrance there. So what's that?
It'll be the east side.
No, it'd be the
Side.
west side, right? Yeah. Yep. So the east side, they're going to tear up first, and then they're going to just have that entrance by the loading dock is the one that's going to be the main entrance for the courthouse.
By the finance.
Parking lot is gonna be in the completely wrong place then.
Yeah. Well, you know, they're going to tear apart the east side of the parking lot for all those wells and everything. So it's kind of better than it might be, because that whole east side of the parking lot is where they're going to dig that down and then drill all those wells and stuff. So that's going to be a long project. That whole side of the parking lot is going to be closed for probably the whole first phase of the year and a half they're talking about, first phase, you know. But the one on that side is going to be open. On the one on the west side, the other side of it, and with the reduced traffic to the courthouse and not having meetings there, and I think the parking is probably going to be sufficient. The biggest issue they're having, or they think they're going to have, is bathrooms, because and that's mainly for employees, because there's basically these two single, you know, bathrooms where it's like a family bathroom where you close the door and you know everything's in one. So they got the two on the one side there on the first floor. The ones in the basement are going to be closed, and the big ones on the first floor are going to be closed. I think there's like one little one on second floor, and then there's maybe one that you need some kind of special access to get to on the third floor. So restrooms are going to be a little scarce for the employees in that building during that time, but they'll figure it out, you know.
All the departments gonna eventually end up back where they were initially?
No, they're moving some things around. They're talking UW Extension's supposed to come down or go down into the basement under the east side of the building, where they were on first floor on the west side of the building before. And then finance is going to be where they are. They're done already. HR is going to be kind of back around where our offices are, whatever, on the east side of the building. They're going to be, if you go down around that corner, kind of where the county boardroom was, is where the HR is going to be. So there's going to be some moving around. Our spaces are going to be about the same. Land and Water's getting a couple more offices on that end. They're moving the break room away from where it is now, and that's going to be part of our area, Land and Water and Parks and Solid Waste. So
County board's going to the basement.
yep, county board is going in the basement. Yeah, so there's going to be quite a bit of moving around. So
How long till
Oh,
we're back?
the first phase is supposed to be like a year and a half
Useless
ish. And then like the second phase, they were saying
cash.
a year or less, you know. So we'll see. They just an update on that, the process. Yeah, I guess they got the bids in and everything, and pretty much all that stuff that was, they were talking about add alternates, you know, that could possibly be taken out are gonna have to be taken out just for the money that everything costs. And then like, they did find some asbestos in a few places when they were doing the inspection.
You're kidding.
Yeah, and it's, the building's not old enough to where you should have had that, but what they figured happened is the people building the building must have, because they had all the right stuff in most of the place, but like some of the mastic they used for gluing tile down and whatnot, they must have ran out and went and got back, went to the shop and got some old stuff, and you know, so now there's a few spots.
Yeah.
The unfortunate part is all those spots, they have to remediate all that before they can do anything, and then every time you push it back, we're paying Myron $30,000 a month just to be around for now until they get going, you know. So
Jeez.
it's $30,000 on top of whatever that remediation costs, and it is going to be, you know, a few spots, but it's going to be expensive to do because they got to contain all the dust and all that stuff. So yeah, it's
And all the utilities still have to be on at least to keep everything.
yeah. Any big project, there's going to be some hiccups, and hopefully that's the end of the expensive ones. But
What did they do with security so far? Anything?
not. I mean, as far as like what's going on right now, or
Well, they were supposed to, be having a
Oh.
officer at the front door and
Yeah.
entrance and then.
as far as I know, they're still dragging their feet on that one.
We'll be fighting that until I'm
They're
done.
trying to find
But-
money to pay for.
Yeah, but the courts, the county's required to provide security for the courts, and that's under Fred's.
If a judge requires it, requests it, we gotta do it.
Yep. So they're
Whether
gonna.
we're gonna afford it or not.
Yep.
We did have a judge request it already,
Yep.
Now all
Yep.
three of them have, I think. So
I don't know, maybe they all did, yeah, no. I
yeah.
know
So
one-
so that's kind of where that's at. But I would suggest, you know, public property, keep an eye on those meetings because a lot of interesting stuff has been happening lately. So, you know, or ask Fred.
I believe
You're the
they-
chair of public property, right?
I used to be.
Friday.
Used to be.
I think public property meets on Friday again, don't they? Or modernization, this courthouse modernization.
Well,
That one meeting, that one group. is
no,
it
the two of them
meeting?
together, that's
Yeah,
like,
they're together.
Yeah,
Which is,
public property modernization,
they both meet on the same day
we get a
together.
lot of talk about the courthouse remodel, more than anything else.
Yep. So
If you wanna tune in, that'll give you. an
yep,
update.
yep. Keep an eye on those meetings, and otherwise, I don't have much else.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
So
make a motion to adjourn.
suit your hurry, where you going?
Wow.
Next meeting, June 9th,
Oh, yeah.
12.
3:30.
No hurry, I just get talking.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody. I'm gonna turn this thing off here.